We have gotten criticism for just sitting down with former President Trump. As journalists, just set the scene, the backdrop, why there is still news value.
Well, this is a huge challenge for American journalism, of course, right? It cannot be that a person can run for president of the United States, be a front runner in his party, and possibly win without ever being challenged by a tough, independent interviewer.
Talk about a tough first day. The new host of NBC's Meet the Press already playing defense after her interview with former President Trump triggered calls to boycott the show.
Yeah, Fox News contributor Joe Concha is here to unpack it all. Joe, the hashtag boycott Meet the Press trended on X. What do you make of this criticism?
Well, I'll answer your question with a question, Carly. What is the journalistic crime here? Interviewing a former president who received, 74 million votes a couple of years ago, is now the clear frontrunner for the Republican nomination by a country mile? I believe he's newsworthy. And what's especially hilarious and phony is how everyone in this industry who's complaining about this interview literally focuses on Trump 24/7 themselves, yet they're putting themselves up in a higher moral plane when it comes to this. And look, what we're seeing now must be very disturbing for Democrats. This new Reuters poll that's out that should get more attention. It shows Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in 7 swing states by an average of 6 points. Wow. If that holds, we're talking landslide in 2024. Therefore, that makes Donald Trump completely newsworthy and even more newsworthy of a national platform like we saw in Meet the Press yesterday.
Meantime, MSNBC host Jonathan Capehart has this theory about the bad press Kamala Harris is getting. Listen.
The criticisms of the vice president have been coming at her since she was picked. Are they doing it not because they think she's incompetent, but because they know her potential and they're afraid of her?
A lot of times you have a political press that is frankly white and male and that is used to covering politicians that don't look like Vice President Harris. And so I think that is drawing more attention to her.
Afraid? Afraid of what, Joe?
Are Republicans afraid of Kamala Harris? If I heard that right. Most Democrats are afraid of Kamala Harris. It's why, as a 2020 presidential candidate, right, she was doing so poorly, Todd, Carly, she had to drop out in 2019 before one vote was cast. And look, you see this CBS YouGov poll that just came out shows that most Democratic voters aren't juiced about Harris being Joe Biden's running mate again. Just 30% of registered Democrat voters say they're enthusiastic about a Biden-Harris ticket. On job performance, as we know, she's utterly failed the country at the U.S. southern border. Her speeches at times are as awkward and incoherent as they come. It's all foam and no beer. Her favorability rating overall 32% in the most recent NBC poll that employs Jonathan Capehart. That's the lowest of any vice president in history. Overall, she's polling around 40%, and to make her average not great at all for any vice president. So yeah, petrified, terrified, mortified. I'm personally stupefied by Jonathan Capehart in asking such a question.
You know, but Joe, there is this push from the Biden administration to use her out on the campaign trail more. She's going to be doing a tour of college campuses to try and drum up youth support. Is that a good idea?
I don't know what else they can do with her, I guess, right? Maybe she could go down to the border if there's any colleges that are down there. But the more people see of Kamala Harris, the more they simply do not like her because she has an authenticity problem. We just talked about the speeches. And on job performance, she was given one major job, and she ignores that job now. And now we've seen millions upon millions of people come across the U.S. southern border, hundreds of which are on the U.S. terror watch list. This is a national security crisis that she's responsible for, and yet she doesn't talk about that very much, does she?
Finally, Joe, Chuck Schumer relaxing the Senate dress code, seemingly to cater to one John Fetterman, a.k.a. the hoodie. Schumer telling Axios, quote, senators are able to choose what they wear on the Senate floor. I will continue to wear a suit. I think this is bigger than John Fetterman, bigger than a hoodie, bigger than the Senate. To me, this is death by 1,000 cuts in destroying the norms and traditions of our society. What say you, Joe?
That's true. At least the legacy of John Fetterman is now cemented, Todd, right? Not for improving the lives of the state he represents, of course, but because thanks to this new rule, he gets to dress like it's sophomore year in summer school every day. Hey, Mr. Fetterman, wear a suit. You're 54 years old. You're on the back nine. This is the United States Senate, not a pickleball tournament.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that most lawmakers continue to wear the suits and the
Yeah, have you been to church?
Professionally.
I mean, even if the people who are going to church, God forbid people, they're wearing like ripped jeans, this and the other thing. Joe and I both shower in suits. We're very formal. That's how we decide to live our lives. So hence, why we get upset about this.
That's right. What an image there. Joe, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.